All right. Good evening, guys, and welcome to the JavaScript Simplified Course. And also, good evening to those that are going to be watching the video later on as well that are not in the class or present in the class now. All right. So, let's go to our Visual Studio Code. So today is going to be class 9. So I'll create a new folder and I'll call it class 9. All the files that we have in class 8, I'm just going to copy them and move it to class 9. Yeah. So then in my HTML, or I guess I need to, okay, you know what? Let me delete all of this and start from this. Yeah. Copy the one in class 6 and paste it in class 9. Yeah. So now we're going to clear this off. So I'll call this intermediate JavaScript section. So yeah, I'm going to. There are a lot of things we're going to be looking at. So I hope we'll be able to finish them today. And if we can't, we'll move it to next time we'll be having our next class. So yeah, we are going to be looking at the structuring of arrays and objects. Then afterwards we'll look at um we'll look at for off loop. Then afterwards we'll look at methods of array. I think we've done that before. Methods of an object, I guess. Coming. Okay, we've even looked at for off loop. Oh, interesting. We've looked at for off loop. Okay, we'll finalize that. Wow, we've done a lot. Wow, 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 wow. Update your keys. Wow, interesting. So, I think I need to clear this out. And also, let me confirm something. Hold on. Okay, spread operator, spread and rest operator. Let's see what other things. Okay, we looked at object. Okay, class. Let's see class 5. Oh, we looked at methods in object. All right, good, 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 good. So then here I can call this keyword. Then li will have enhance object literal. Afterwards, I think we are good to go. So let's okay. We'll still have for each. We have for each map and filter method. All right. So These are the things we are going to be looking at today, and hopefully we should be able to finish them today. All right. So I'm going to clear all of this. So let me open this my browser. All right. So the structuring of arrays, an object, spread and rest operator, this keyword, enhance object literal, and for each map and filter. All right. So this is what I want to look at today. All right. We already did a project on Dome. So before we look at another project on Dome, I want us to touch some key things. I want us to touch on key things. Then we can now go back to Dome and build some nice project. All right. So we have 2 or 3 projects to go. So now back to script.js. So we are looking at the structuring or the structuring assignment. Let's leave it that way. The structuring of assignment. All right. So now, what is destructuring? Destructuring, comment. Destructuring in JavaScript is a convenient way to extract values from an array or properties from objects and assign them to variables in a more concise manner. I repeat, destructuring in JavaScript is a convenient way to extract values from arrays or properties from objects and assign them to variables in a more concise way. So, first on my list here is array destructuring. So, let us see how we can destructure an array. So, what is array destructuring? Array destructuring allows you to extract value from an array and assign them to variables based on their position. So let's look at one example here. So let's say we have const arr and we have an array of let's say Alice, Bob, Charles, and Davis, and okay, Alice, Bob, Charles, Davis, and Eve. All right, good. Now these are all the values that we have in this array. Usually whenever I want to access the value of the array, or whenever I want to access the element or members of the array, we usually access them by their position or by the index of that element in the array. So let's say, for example, let's jog our memory back to, I might say console.log, and I'll give it, let's say, arr at position 0. This is how it is being done. And if you, okay, I think it has been, we've opened it before. All right, so let's inspect. All right, so we have Alice. So let me use a better, hold on, please. All right, so here we have Alice. All right, we have Alice. So now this is the one we actually used to. So let's now see how it works in this. Let's see how we can use the structuring to be able to access the value or the members or elements of the array. So array destructuring allows us to be able to extract values from an array and assign them to a variable based on their position. So let's say this how to do the structuring. You have const here, then you have an array. All right, you have an array. So you have to follow the same format. All right, the way the structure is. So we only have one array here. So when it comes to destructuring, when we want to destructure this array, so we'll start with what? An array, then equals what? The name of the array or the variable that is holding this array. So we'll say ARR. And now, what am I typing? All right, so now in this case, we want to now destructure, meaning we want to extract each of these values: Alice, Bob's, Charlie, David, and Eve. We want to extract them from the array and assign them to a variable based on their position. So I can come here and say, I can do name one, can do name one. So the variable does not really matter. You get that now? So name one, name two, name three, name four, and name five. I guess how many names do I have? Okay, five. So can you see now now I've been able to we've been able to destructure or extract the values of this array and assign them to these distinct variables that we have here. So instead of doing array ARR at position 0, ARR at position 1, all we just have to do is just console.log name 1, name 2, name 3, name 4, name 5. You see that now? And let's see the result we're going to get. Still loading. Now we have Alice, Bob, Charlie, David, and what? Eve. So it's quite it's better, it's quite easy. You see that? It's quite easy. All right, so I'm going to comment this part, but let's leave it. Then we have another array. Let's say we want to destructure another array. Let's call this numbers. And let's say we have like 20, 40. Then we have like we want to destructure nested array now. All right, nested array. Or before we look at nested array, let's see. Okay, just hold on. So this is just the basic array destructuring. This example that we have here is like what do you call it? Number one is basic array destructuring. All right, basic array destructuring. Then the next one we are going to look at will be skipping elements. Skipping elements. All right, it's going to be skipping elements. So now when it comes to skipping element, let's say for example, um, we have a variable here, const, and I call it colors. And here we have red, green, blue, and yellow. Let's remove the orange. All right, good. Let's remove the orange. Now we have green, red, green, blue, and yellow. And we want to skip one element or probably skip some elements in this array. So let's say, for example, I want to get red and I want to skip green and get blue. So how do I do it? It is very simple. I could just do something like const, then the structuring of the array, then the name of the variable will be colors like this. Then here I'm going to do first. You know, somehow you might want to do something like, okay, since we want to get red and blue, we want to skip green. You might want to say, okay, first and third, and you think it's going to you're going to work. You know, some students can be very funny. All right, so if you do first and third, let's see if truly is going to what is going to work. If we are going to get red and blue, let us see. Apparently, we are getting red and what green. So it doesn't work that way. In case if you are thinking like that, it doesn't work that way. All right. So Now we want to get red and want to get blue. Knowing that array is an ordered is a ordered data type, different from object. Object is not really, it's not ordered. So array is an ordered collection of values, ordered collection. So the position is what makes it order, like makes it an order of order collection, an array of order collection, or values of order collection. So now the position of green, the position of red, green, blue, and yellow is very, very important. So in the case whereby we want to skip green and get blue, then to skip we have to use a comma, like a space. So instead of doing third here, I'll just okay first comma, then space, then comma, then space, then we'll have the third. So it means that we've been able to skip what, the second element, so that we can get what, the third element. So this space there is what, skip, to skip an element. And let's see how true it is. Can you see red and blue? So you can skip as many as you want. You can come here and skip another one here. So instead you will get red and what, yellow. So if you save this now, you will get what, red and yellow. Let's see. All right, you see that, red and yellow. And let's say if you want to skip the first element, you want to get green and blue, it's quite easy. All you just have to do is skip the first element, you do space, comma, then you are good to go. Now it's going to skip the first element and give you what, green. So let's see, it's going to give you green and blue. So let's see what we have. Can you see green and blue? All right, green and blue. So let's move on. So that's for skipping element. You see, it's quite simple. All right, it's quite simple. So let's say we have another complex or nested. Um, let's see, nested array destructuring. So we have something like a numbers equals. You have like 20, 40. Then you have another array that says 12, 30. Okay, let's say 34, then 56. Then you have another array that says 78 and 90. All right, good. Now look at this array. Apparently this is a nested array, two layer nesting. So we have three arrays here, while two are inside of each other. So we have the outer array having the color of yellow. Then we have the first inner array having the color of pink. I don't know, I'm not really good with colors, maybe pink or violet or whatever. Then we have the third array inside of the second array, which has the color of blue. All right, has the color of blue. So how are we going to destructure an array like this? So to destructure an array like this, first of all, let me ask you, let's analyze this array one after the other. Now if the outer array has three elements, the outer array has three elements or three values or three members, or let's just work with values. The outer array has what, three values. And what are the values? 20, 40, and this array that we have here. So these are the elements of the array. Then inside of this second array, how many elements do we have in this second array? Apparently we have four. You have 12, 34, 56, and this array here. Then let's also focus on the third array. How many elements does the third array has, or how many value the third array has? It has two values, 78 and 90. So now I can decide to destructure just the outer array, or destructure both the outer and the inner, or I can destructure all. So now to destructure, I can come here and say const, then an array like this. equals to what? Numbers. So this first one that we have here is what? The outer array. Are you with me? So if I say, let's say for example, I do A and B, all right, then and C. So now this A will be the variable for 20, then the B will be the variable for 40, and the C will be the variable for this array that we have here, this second array that we have here. And let's see how true it is. So let's console A, B, and what? C. And let's see what we are going to have. All right, now can you see we are having 20 and 40. Then the other element is this array that we have here. And let's say, okay, um we want to destructure the second array. We want to destructure the second array. So how do we do that? To destructure the second array, so we have to follow the structure of this array that we have here and do it in the destructuring. So I'll come here, I'll remove the C. I will have yeah, I'll remove the C, and I will have another array here. So then I'll do C, then D, then E. So now that means this C will be representing 12, the D will be representing 34, the E will be representing 56, and let's say F as well will be representing the third array. So let's see how it goes here. So D, E, and F. So let's see. Now we have 20, 40, 12, 34, 56, but we have the third array. So let's also destructure the third array. So to destructure the third array, I'll remove this F and add an array to it. Then I'll say F and what? G. So that means I've successfully destructured this nested what array. So I'll say G, I'll add G to it. Now if you check, we have what? A straight, we've destructured all the values of the array. You see that now. That is how the structuring work with that's how the structuring work for array. So let me give you a quick classwork here. A quick classwork. So a quick classwork. So let's say we have const. Let's say we have nums, and you have an array 10, 20. Then you have another array like this. Probably you have another one here. Let's say 12 and 22. Then here you have another one, uh 14 and 37. Then yes, and let's say you have this um 15 like this. Okay, so this is an array. I want you to destructure it. Destructure all the values from the array. Destructure the value from the array. All right, destructure the value from the array. So just give yourself time. So if you're watching this video later, please try so please pause the video, try it on your own. When you are done trying it, then you can, and if you're done trying it, then we'll come back for the, what do you call it, for the solution. All right, so let me pause the video. Okay, so if you have tried it, let's see, um let's see the solution to the classwork. All right, so this is a long one actually. So let's see the solution to it. So I'm going to call the solution. So here I will do const an array equals nums So apparently this array, the first element of the outer array is an array. So I'll do array, I'll follow the same structure and I'll give it probably a value. So all the variables that we have used there, we cannot use them again, because if you use them, it's going to throw an error, because we declared the variable with const. So probably we might use something else. Let's use a1. Let's use a1, then b2. All right, then another array. So say c3, comma, then an array. So this will be d4, e5, then another array, which will be um let's do a2, then b b3. All right, I think I'm correct. Yes, I am. Then another array, which will be c4, then d5, and another array, which will be e6. Yes, and a3. So I think everything is perfect. So all I just have to do is console.log it. So a1, yep. So we're good to go. So let's see the result. Can you see everything here? So that's the solution to the classwork. All right. So now let's move on. Let me just comment all the consoles that we have here. Let's comment all the consoles. All right. So last but not the least, on the structuring will be default values. All right, will be default value. So let's say, for example, we have const. Oh, look at where I'm writing it. We have const, and let's say we have okay. Let's use fruit for instance. Now I think fruit is better. So banana, aha. So we have banana and mango. So I can say const the structure, then fruits. Then here I can say fruit one, comma fruit two. And let's say I now do fruit 3 for instance. Fruit 3, then I console.log fruit 1 to 3. Let us see what we are going to get. Let's see what we are going to get. Can you see we have banana, we have apple and banana, while the third fruit is what undefined, because there is the length of the elements that we have in the array, they are just two. So the apple is assigned to this variable called fruit 1. Then the banana is also assigned to this variable called fruit 2. So fruit 3 does not have any value. So we can give it a default value by doing this in the destructuring. Let's say we give it what should we give it? Strawberry. Let's give it strawberry and we save. So look at, we are going to have what? Strawberry. So that is how default value works too as well. All right, so I can comment this part too as well. So now let's now look at array. Let's look at object destructuring. Object destructuring, I hope you perfectly understand all the things that we've done here so far concerning array destructuring. So please ensure you watch the video over and over again till you get complete understanding of array destructuring. So let's look at object destructuring. Object destructuring allows, you want to say something, Mr. Joseph? All right, let's move on. So object destructuring allows us to extract properties from an object. Object destructuring allows us to extract properties from an object and assign them to variables using a matching property. using a matching property. So let's use something here. I'll say const person, then an object. So I'll say name to be um Peter, then I'll say age to be 25. Then okay, I'll have address. Okay, let's use this. And then what again? Occupation. No, occupation should be a software engineer. Yes. Now I can say is married. We'll say false. All right. So good. Now we have all of this in an object. So let us see how we can destructure an object. So one, basic object destructuring. So like I said object destructuring allows you to extract properties from an object and assign them to variables using matching property names. So now how do we destructure this? In fact, destructuring an object is very, very simple. Very, very, very simple. So all you just have to do is you destructure the property. You get, so I'll come here, I'll do const. So we'll follow the same method since it's a coily brace. So I'll do a coily brace here, then equals the variable that is holding the property. Then here I can destructure the property one after the other. So let's start with name, age, occupation, is married, and last will be address. So let's see what we have. So I'm going to console the log the name, the age, occupation is married, and address. And let's see what we have here. Can you see we have Peter, 25, software engineer, false, and the address. So what we are getting back is the value when we destructured the property from the object. The property from the object. What we got back in return when we console the log the property is the value. So notice that even the address, which is the property of this person object, is holding an object as a value. So when we console the log address, we're getting what? We're getting what? This array here. Sorry, I said array. We're getting this object here. So this is a nested object. All right, this is a nested object. It's a nested object. So that is the basic object destructuring. And number two is renaming variables. Renaming variables. Before we look at nested, okay, let's look at nested object destructuring. So let me just comment this or duplicate this, comment the first one, and bring this one here. So let's say I only want to destructure out address from the object. You don't have to destructure everything. So and this one is not like array where you have to skip an element to get the next one. So object is not as ordered. It's not even an ordered data type like array. So our object is just a collection of is a collection of a key and a value. It's a collection of value in the form of key and value pair. All right, or collection of data in the form of key and value pair. So order does not really matter when it comes to object, but it really matters when it comes to array. All right, so now we are destructuring the address from the object. So if you consider the log address now, look at what we have here. We're having this New York. So how do we destructure a nested array? All right, how do we destructure a nested array? It's very simple. It's very, very simple. To destructure a nested array, we have to follow this format, just like the way we destructure the outer object. We destructure the outer object, so and we have a nested object inside of the outer object, so we'll follow that format, the structure. So come here, we have address, then double column, then we'll have a curly brace, then we'll destructure out, we'll destructure the properties of that inner object. So say city, comma, and what country, then we save. So now if you console the log address, now let me remove this address because it won't work anymore. If you console the log address, now look at what it's going to tell you. It's going to tell you address is not defined. Why? Because you've already destructured the properties from that address. So instead of doing address now, all you just have to do is type city and what country. So if you save this now, look at what we get. We are getting New York and USA. All right, that is how the structuring works in object. So let's look at the next one, which is renaming variables. So I'll call this renaming variables, renaming property or variables, whichever one, renaming property. So now let's say we want to rename the name property, this name property, we want to rename it to full name. So let's say we have Peter Parker. Yeah, I think I love this. Peter Parker. And we want to rename the property name from name to full name. How do we do it? It's very simple. Const, destructure it from the person object. Then here you destructure out the name property, but want to rename the property. Like instead of using name, we will rename it. We'll give it a new alias, or what they call it, alias, alias. So it's also called, also known as. So let's give it another property name. So I'll do double column, and I'll give it let's say full name like this. You see that? So now if I console the log, if I console the log name, let's see what we are going to get. Let's see. We are getting Peter Parker. Okay, all right. Probably because I hold on. Let me remove the name from here. Let me remove the name from here. Okay, let's still maintain it. So let me just console the log full name instead. Full name. All right. So if you save, now we are getting what? Peter Parker. Peter Parker. All right. Very very interesting. Very very interesting. So all right. So let's move on. Let's move on. So the next thing I want us to look at. So since we've already seen the use case of for off loop, and now we can use it to loop over an object and even an array. So there's a trick we can use, how we can use for off loop over an object. So I taught you that that should be in class 6 or class 5. All right. So now we are done with destructuring. All right. We are done with destructuring. There's just this example I want to show you here. We have colors here. So let's say I want to loop over these colors using for off loop. So I can come here and do, let's just do um okay, let's say we have 4, and I can say let color of colors. So if you save that and you console the log if you console the log color, so the one I'm looping over is this array here. Where is it? Is this array here of the variable colors? All right, so don't get confused. So if you come here, look at what we have. We have red, green, blue, and what? Yellow. So let me comment every other console that we have here. Good. So now we have red, green, blue, and yellow. All right. So now let's say we want to get the what do you call it? We want to get the index of every element of that array. The index of every value. When I mean the index, the position of every value in the array. So to be able to do that, knowing that for off loop only gives us the value of the array. But let's say we want to get the value and also the index or the position. All we just have to do is to attach dot entry to the array, to the variable that is holding the array like this. And once you attach dot entry and you console the log color, what we are going to be getting back is going to be an array that is holding the value, the index of the value, and the value itself. So let's now, with our knowledge that we already have acquired in destructuring of array, then we can destructure this directly inside of this. So this color here, this variable color, is holding an array of the position of the value of the object or of the array and also the value itself. So we can destructure this directly here and say destructure. So I can give this key representing the index, or let's just say index comma and value. All right. So here I'll just change this from index from color, then I'll make it value like this. So if you save, look at what we have now. We're getting is 0. So you can see the position: 0 red, 1 green, 2 blue, 3 yellow. So you see that now. Fantastic. So very, very good. Okay, so let me comment this. So this will lead me to what we call spread. And okay, spread in array. Let's look at spread in array. Spread in array. Please hold on. All right, so let's look at spread operator in array and also spread operator in object. Then afterwards, we'll look at rest operator in array and rest operator in object, and we'll see how we can work with that in with function as well. All right, with function as well. So what is spread operator? So let's look at it one after the other. What is spread operator? Spread operator expands an array, expands an object or an iterable into individual elements. That's the meaning of what spread. So it is like another advanced part of destructure. You know, when you are destructuring, you only destructure one element at a time or one value of an array at a time. So, and of course, from what we just looked at, we said that destructuring is used to extract values from an array and assigning them to a distinct variable. All right. So you are unpacking values and assigning them to a variable. But spread means that you are unpacking all at once. You are unpacking all the value all at once, and you're not assigning them to any variable. You get that now? So now let's say, for example, this how spread works. I can let me show you. Console.log, three dots, then color. You see that now? This how spread works. So you know we already have the color variable, the color array up there. So we want to spread out, meaning we want to expand all the values of this array. We want to spread it out. We want to unpack everything. So without assigning them to a variable. So this is the best way. You spread it out. All right. Console.log, then this three dot, then the variable name. Now look at what we have here. Simple. Very, very simple. So you see that So spread operator expand an array or object or iterables into individual elements. So the spread operator is used to expand arrays or object into individual elements. So spread operator can also be used to copy an array or to copy an object. Spread operator can also be used to merge arrays or objects. To merge arrays or object. So we can even use spread operator, like I said, to copy arrays or object. So using spread operator to copy arrays is called shallow copy. It is called shallow copy. So let's say, for example, we have these colors here, and let's say I want to add more colors. So I can do something like this. Um, copy an array. Let's say copy array. So let's say we have const. We have copy here. So we want to copy this array. Hold on. We want to copy the color array and assign it to another variable. All we just have to do, we need an array and spread out the values of the color array. Spread it out into this. And if you console the log, watch, if you console the log copy, you have exactly the same thing. Let's see what we have here. Can you see having exactly the same thing? So it's used for what? Copying an array or object. And it can also be used to merge merge arrays. All right, it can be used to merge arrays. So let's say we have const array 1 equals 1 2 3. Then we have array 2 equals 4 5 6. All right, and we want to merge this array together, meaning bring them together, concatenate them. So we can use the spread operator. All we just have to do is simple. I'll say const merged. I can give it merged. That will be equals an array. So I will spread out the first one, comma, and spread out what? The value of the second array. We'll spread it out into a new array. And if you console the log merged, let's see what we are going to get. Can you see? Very, very simple. Fantastic. All right. So let me comment this. So you see how simple it is, right? Okay. So the next one we are going to look at is um okay, so let's look at another one here, which is adding elements in an array. All right, in an array. So let's say we have const array 3. Then we have, so let's say we have, so array 3 has its own unique value. Let's say we give it 12, comma, and we want to spread out this merge. We want to spread out this merge, or let's give it a 0. A 0. So we want to spread out, this merge now is a variable that is holding the array of an array of the two arrays here, array 1 and array 2. So we are going to spread the merge now. We'll spread it, and we will now have the next one, which will be 7 8 9. You see that now? So the original value of array 3 is 0 7 8 9, while we spread out the ones that we get from here. So, and if you if you console the log array 3, look at what we have here. Fantastic. Okay, good. So I think I can comment it. So with spread operator, spread operator allows elements to be inserted anywhere in the new array. So can you see we spread it out here. We can spread it anywhere in the array. All right. So now let's look at object. Let's look at object. All right. Let's look at object. how we can use rest, what do you call it, spread operator in object. So spread operator in object. So we are going to use okay, let's still use this at least. Yeah. So i'm just going to I'm going to use this. Let's say for example copy I want to copy an object, or copying an object. For example, copying an object. We want to copy an object. For instance, we can do something like this. We can do something like this. Const. I'll call it copy. I think we've used copy before, if I'm not mistaken. So let's just say copy one. All right. So then an object. So it's like we are trying to get a new object. So, but since this copy one, the new object that we are trying to get does not have its own property and value. So we want to use the properties and value of the person one object. So what we are going to do is to spread out person one object into this object that we have here. So, and if you console the log copy one object, look at what we have here. Very good. You see the structuring of array, the structuring of object, spread, and rest operator. They are most especially spread. They are very, very important topics in React, because by the time we are done with JavaScript and we'll be moving to React, hopefully by April or by May, we're going to be looking at React. So of course it's going to be an affordable course. So the React course is going to be like for 3 months. So that's 12 weeks. So you're going to be learning a lot in React. So, and the knowledge of JavaScript is very, very, very paramount. All right. The knowledge of JavaScript is very, very, very paramount. All right. So it's very, very key. Hold on. So let's move on. So let's look at how we can merge two objects together. So yeah, I'll say merge objects. So let's say we have um let's say we have const person 2. Then so yeah, I want to spread out I want to spread out what do you call it, I want to spread out person 1. Yeah, so I just do person 1. Then I will add something like occupation, which is software engineer, and we are good to go. You see that now? And if I console the log person 2, let's see what we are going to get. So the only unique property of person 2 is this occupation and software. This occupation, this unique property is the occupation. So the property in what they call it in person 1 is always spread into person 2 object. All right. So if you check now, we have Alice, age, then occupation. You see, fantastic. So that's that about spread operator of in array and in object 2 as well. So let me comment all of this console. So then the next one we are going to look at will be rest operator. So the rest operator too have the same syntax um, as spread operator. The rest operator has the same syntax as spread operator. So that's the same syntax. So you can be you might be confused. So that is why I'm here to break it down for you. So when to use spread operator and rest operator. So in case you see in case you see you see rest operator and spread operator in the same expression or in the same code, you should be able to tell the difference. You should be able to tell which one is spread operator and which one is what rest operator. All right, so let's look at that. So what is spread operator? What is spread? No, sorry. Um, what do you call it? Rest operator. Sorry. What is rest operator? Rest operator gathers multiple elements into a single array. So rest operator is the opposite of spread operator. Spread means to spread out. Rest means to gather. Please take note. Spread means to expand, to spread out, while rest means to gather. So it means to gather multiple elements into a single array. All right, that's the meaning of rest operator. It is a collection, or it collects multiple values into a single array. It collects multiple value into what a single array. Let's take for example we have the let's still use this color. Let's still use this color. Let's still use this color. So let's say we have const and call it colors. So let's say we destructure x, we destructure the first and the second. All right, we destructure the first and the second, and you console the log x and y. Let's see what we are going to get. So look at, we are getting red and green. Where is this one coming from? Line 63. Where are you? Line 63. Okay, comment. All right, so yeah, we have red and what? Green. Now, what if we want to get the remaining values of the array? Now that we've only destructured two, we only destructured two, that's the red and the green. We want to get the rest. We want to get the rest as an array. So how do we do it? So all you just come here, you just have to do comma and do three dots, and you can call it rest. You can call it any name. You can call it rest. You can call it other colors. You can call it others. You can call it anything. All right. So if I come here, command, I do others. Let's see what we are going to get. Now we are getting the rest of the values of the color array. We are getting it back, or we are getting it back as an array. All right. Now, so whenever you are using rest operator, now if you look at this case, now this is a rest operator. So the rest operator usually comes at the left side of the assignment operator. It comes at the left side. While spread comes at the right side of the assignment operator. Look at the spread now. Take for example, can you see this is spread coming at the right side, coming after the assignment operator. Let's look at another one here. After the assignment operator, can you see after the assignment operator, after the assignment operator? You see that now. But rest comes before the assignment operator. It comes before the assignment what? Operator. All right. So that is how it works. All right. So it's very simple. You can even change it from others to remainder or remaining, or remaining, and changes to remaining, whichever variable name that you want to give it. All right, remaining. So let's look at rest operator for object. Rest operator in object. So let's say we have where is it? Where is it? Where is it? We have, okay. Let's use this person one, for instance. Okay, person two is okay. Let's use person two. So I can come here and say, okay, const. I want to destructure name from person two. Let's see what we are going to get. I'm going to console.log name. Why are we having error here? Let us see something. The name has already been declared. Okay, so um, let's use the reason why we have name has already been declared is because of this part where we have where we destructure the object. So because when we destructure, we declared it with what const. So we won't be able to use it here except maybe I comment all of this. And let's see, let me comment it. And also let me comment this one too. So if I comment that, see what we have here now, it will work. You see that? So if you come here, look at what we have. We're having Alice. Okay, I can change the name from name to full name. I can change the rename the property. So let me give this full name. So please, in order for you not to encounter error, make sure all these ones that we have here, go and comment it up here. Look at, I commented this, commented everything here, so that we'll not have any issue down here. So if you save now, look at what we have. We are still getting Alice. So let's say, for example, you want to destructure just one property from person two and get the rest as an object. So what are you going to do? It's very simple. I can just do three dots here and say others or rest or whichever thing, whichever name that you want to give it. Let me just call it rest and save. Now watch what we're going to get here. If I console the log rest, for instance, let's see what we are going to get. Now we are getting the rest of the array, sorry, of the object. With the structured name, we are getting the rest of the object. So you see how nice it is. So look at the rest operator. Always comes before the assignment operator. It always comes before the assignment operator. It always comes before the assignment operator. So spread expands an element, rest gathers an element. So spread can be used on arrays, object, function, argument. Even rest too can be used on function, parameters, and okay, let's look at, before we start looking at the differences between spread operator and rest operator. Let me comment this part too. So we've seen how we can use rest operator on array, how we can use rest operator on object. So let us see how we can use it on let's see how we can use it on function. All right, let us see how we can use it on function. So let's see, rest operator in function. So let's say we have, all right, so now let's say we have a function. This is a function declaration. I'll call it sum, and um, then I'm going to console.log, or let me just call, okay, let's make it simple, console.log sum. So call the sum with different different values. Let's do 12, 14, 16, and 17. All right, so now typically look at what we have here. We have 12, 14, 16, and 17. So that these are the arguments of the function. So if we are to create a parameter, if we are to have a parameter that will hold all of these, that will represent all of these arguments, that means we have four parameters set. Take for example A, B, C, and what D. But this is how rest operator works. Rest operator works in the function parameter. You get that now? It works in the function parameter. So the rest operator collects multiple values. Okay, we've looked at that already. So we have several arguments here, four arguments. And how can we use a single parameter to hold all these values that we have here? That is where we need the rest operator. So we'll do three dots, then we'll say nums. Now, watch what we are going to get. Is going to pack or gather all the is going to pack or gather all the arguments into one single array. Now let me show you that. So now look at what we have here. 110. Where is it? Okay. Maybe okay, I should have returned. Okay, let me return. Sorry. Not console. I think I taught you return statement, right? I taught you that if I'm not mistaken. Please let me confirm before I use something I know I know. Let me confirm, please. I guess so. I get okay, fantastic. I taught you. All right, so return norms. So let's see what we are going to get. Can you see? It's giving us what? It's giving us an array. So it grouped those arguments and send it back to us as what? An array. So that's why we spread it. We gathered all the arguments and put it here. We gathered all the elements into an array using this rest operator. So you see that. And one thing I want to show you is whenever you are using rest operator to get the remaining of an array or an object, make sure the rest operator comes last as the elements of the array. Like look at this now. We have x and y. Let it come last, because if it doesn't come last, if it is starting first, it's going to give you error. Now watch. Let's say we cut this now and I paste it here and I do comma. Can you see it's already giving me error? If you over on it, it says a rest operator must be the last in a destructuring pattern. You see that? A rest a rest element must be the last in a destructuring pattern. So this has to be the last element in this destructuring pattern. All right. So I needed to tell you that before we proceed. So now we gathered all of this arguments into a single array. So now what I'm going to do now is I don't want to return it as an array. I want to loop over it so I can get the sum. So I'll say for loop. So I'll say let num of nums. All right. So how do I add all of these values together, all of these arguments together? So first of all, I'll do let sum. No. Let total be equals to what is zero. So that will be the initial value of total. The inside of the for loop, I will now say total plus or equals num. I believe you understand the plus equals is an assignment operator. This additional assignment. Go and check class 2 if you know you've forgotten this. Class 2. I think I explained that in class 2. Yes. Yeah, this is it here. Additional assignment. Look at it here. So please go back to class 2 if you know you've forgotten. So if you save this now, so we loop over the norms array. So every value of the of the array will be added to what? To the total. So we'll now come here and return total here. So we will not return total in the for loop, rather we'll return total outside of the for loop, but still within the function. So now let's see what we have here. Can you see 59? So there's a better way we could have done this using the reduce method of array or an array, but since we've not done that yet, so let's not go let's not go there. All right, so that's rest operator in a function. So now let's say, for example, aside from this, let's say I want to, let's okay, I have let me show you something. Let's say I have extra value here. Let's say 90, okay, let's say 25 and 36 and 44. All right, how many arguments do we have here now? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. We have seven arguments. All right, so um now let's say get I want to I want to have a parameter that will represent the first and second. So I can do first here and what second here. Then then I want the rest of the arguments to be gathered as an array. That is where we have this rest operator here. That's why we have the rest operator. So now if I console the log, watch, if I console the log first and what second, let's see what we are going to get, and norms too as well. Let's see what we are going to get. We are getting, hold on, we are getting 12 and what 14. What's happening? Why are we not getting the other one here? First, second, and norms. Line 107. Okay, see, line 107, we are getting 12 and 14, but we are not getting the norms. I don't know why. So, anyways, probably let me console the login norms separately. Okay, can you see that now? Fantastic. You see? So that means the 16, 17, 25, 36, and 44 are gathered together and returned as a single array. See that now? So whenever you are even using rest operator in a function, make sure it's the last element in the function parameter. You get that now? Make sure. So we only did this because probably we did this because we want to assign the first two arguments to his parameter, while the rest will be returned as an array. All right, but if you know you don't want to do that, just clear the first and second and just have only the rest operator here. All right, so I think I've done justice to the rest and spread um, operator. Let us see how we can also use the spread operator in, what do you call it, in function. Let's see how it works in function. So let's say, for example, instead of, okay, I can call this function now. Okay, let me remove this first and second. We already understood what I'm trying to pass across. So let me remove the num as well. Now watch, if I do another console.log, instead of passing single values like this as an argument, let me go and destructure, let me get a number value here. That should be, ah, okay, we don't have anyone here. So let's look for one here. Let's say array 4 uh-huh equals to this. Simple. So now let's say I want to pass this as an array. I want this array 4 to now be the argument, so I'll do arr4. All right, if I do arr4, there's going to be error. Why? Because this is already, I don't think there'll be error anyways, but this is already an array. So I pass this array as an argument to this sum. And here, if I console the log norms, for instance, now let's see what we are going to get. Let's see, we are getting this array here. Now watch. Apparently, this is an array. Array 4 is an array holding 5 values. Then this norms parameter is representing this array. All right, this array 4. So, but since we use a rest operator for the norms, it's going to now also convert, it's going to return this array that we have here as an array. So we are going to have array inside of array. So that is what we have here. We're having array inside of array. Can you see? Array inside of array. So the best thing to do is to spread out the values of the array here. Spread it out. So you can see that we use spread as an argument. We use rest as a parameter. Please take note. We use spread as an argument. We use rest as what? A parameter. So if you do this now, so I've spread out all the values in the array 4, spread it out. So now I spread it out here. So this rest now we gather them back in as an array. Now watch. Look at what we have here now. Perfect. You see that now? So that's how it actually works. So now let's look at mm, let's look at the difference between spread and rest operator. So number one, spread expands element, rest gathers element. Spreads are used on arrays, object, and function arguments. Please, spread are used on array, object, and function argument. Can you see? Function argument, that's for spread. But rest are used on function parameters and destructuring. All right. Then the spread returns individual elements, while rest returns a new array. It returns a new array. You can see how nice it is. So the spread operator helps in copying, merging, and expanding array object, while the rest operator is useful for handling variable arguments and destructuring. So we've come to the end of spread operator and what? Rest operator. So, and also we have come to the end of today's class. In our next class, we are going to continue from where we stop. So we'll look at this keyword, enhance object literal for each and map and filter method in array. So there are a lot of things we are going to be looking at before we resume back to Dome. All right, we still have like what they call it. We still have um um string methods to look at, date method to look at, math method to look at, number method to look at. So when we look at all of these method and some of the advanced method in array, then we'll look at one particular project. Then afterwards, we'll look at other advanced aspects like short circuiting, knowledge coalescing, and all of those. Then we'll look at API, how we can fetch API from a remote server, look at promises and all of those things. Then we'll build a project on that. Then afterwards, we'll now build an overall project. All right, so we've come to the end of today's class. We'll meet again next time. All right, bye for now.